Hello and good morning, beautiful people. I've been missing, but I'm back with the jump off. And I want to leave a word on you all today. And that is, stop allowing people to dictate who you are based on your past. I'm going to give you a word and an example of my life. I am going to, testify and be relatable in this moment. So, I used to club every weekend. And I would run into people currently that would remind me of my clubbing days. Girl, I remember when we used to club every weekend. We used to be at this club, that club. You know how to get on the dance floor and shake your rump. Girl, I remember you used to have all the dudes buying us drinks. That was then. You don't see what I'm currently doing now? I'm writing books. I'm creating master classes. I'm a faithful servant for my Lord. You don't see none of that? But then again, some people only want to see you as your past. They don't want to see the elevation on your life. And so they're not going to mention it because where you left them at was at a low place. And they could still be at that low place. I saw a post the other day. A young lady, she put up where someone was critiquing and judging her based on the way she was dressed. And she had on a two-piece. I didn't notice the way she was dressed. Didn't pay attention to her nakedness. I focused in more on her smile. And when she normally posts, this is a young lady that I follow, she normally smiles. And the smile is what gets me. And I didn't pay attention to the nakedness. But the person that came up on her post or inboxed her paid attention to her nakedness and had something negative to say in a judgeful way, in a judgeful manner. And so it's most often the people that have a problem with what you post, they have a problem with themselves. You can't get a person to elevate you or compliment you if they got a problem with themselves. Why key in on the negative when there's so many other attributes that you can key in on? Everybody's struggling with something, and they use a coping mechanism. It's not for you to be the judge and jury, or us to be the judge and jury. And so I keyed in on her smile. And although she could be smiling through her pain, that's the way she's coping. If we're dressing a certain way, until we know better, we'll do better. But we have ways of coping. And it's not for man to be the judge and jury. I also had to reply to someone on my post the other day where we were speaking about decency and modesty. There are so many other attributes, my people, to decent and modesty. It's not about just dress. It's about humility. It's about the way you care for other people, the way you groom yourself, integrity. It's not just about dress code. My God ain't gonna throw me out of heaven because of my dress code. There's so many attributes to being modest and decent. The Bible says, and I think it was in John 5, if I'm not mistaken, where the man that was on his mat and God told him to get up and take his mat and walk with his mat. Jewish people told him not to walk with that mat on the Sabbath day. But he told him, the man that I encountered told me that I could. He couldn't tell him who, because Jesus came about, told him to get up from that mat and walk, and left the scene swiftly until he had another encounter with Jesus, is when he knew who had told him. And so he went back to the Jews and said, my God, Jesus is his name. He told me to get up and walk with this mat. Sometimes we got to be just that stern with people. Just that stern. Yeah, what I got on, I'm sure my shoulders in the back. But you know what? There's so much more to me than that. You know, I'm not so religious like that. And I'm not in the public and speaking. And yes, I do speaking engagements. But I dare not go to a speaking engagement dressed a certain way. We dress accordingly. Most oftentimes we dress accordingly to the weather. It's hot in Florida. I know that's where I'm from. And I dress accordingly to the weather. Now, if I'm going somewhere, a place of business, handle business, speaking engagement, to church, yes, I'm covering up. I'm going to dress modest. But don't be so religious and thinking that you can't get into heaven because you, in the summertime, have your back and shoulders out. This is for somebody.